Hey guys, this is CatDemon43 and back with another episode of The Letter. After 2 months, I am so sorry. But yes, I had been actually kind of preoccupied with getting a book that I had finished writing, which is Louise a Vampire Story. Yay, done! It's over. Not really, because I have to go over and edit, and I've up to this point in time, I've been able to edit up to 11 chapters out of, how many was there? I'm forgetting how many there were. 37, yeah. A lot of chapters. I know, I've always been the type of person to write until the story is done and over with. That's always been my way of going about writing a book. But yes, I have completed it. I'm currently editing it and looking at literary agencies, editors, and publication companies to see who would probably be interested in this type of book, as well as trying to go over the query letter that I have and all that other stuff to maybe potentially get somebody who might want to look at this book and give it a chance. I've also been looking at going back to school. Still trying to figure out what kind of jobs I could potentially get, because nowadays getting a full-time job is almost impossible, or at least it feels that way. But yes, it has been 2 months, and I actually did recently edit the episode 27 and 26 today, which 26 is up. I'm going to be uploading 27 when I finish this recording. So yeah, but I hope all of you guys have been well. It's now summer, and today is actually the longest day of the year. So we're going to have some light for a pretty good long while. But I hope all of you guys are really doing well, and things are okay and good, considering how the world just seems to be going into a chaotic mess. It just feels that way. Anyway, where we left off with the story, with Ash and Isabella, we were trapped in an elevator where you should have taken the stairs. Hello? Common thing with ghosts. If you know you're going to be hunted down by a ghost, you always, always, always take the stairs. You never go for the elevator. Never. Because you wind up dead if you're not careful. Like, I ended up dead several times throughout that QTE. I failed horribly. But, yeah. Besides all that, we will see how things are going with Ash and Isabella. Hopefully I can remember things correctly. Oh, also to let you guys know that I intend to do a Let's Play of The Walking Dead. And if you guys are interested, let me know, okay? Cat going crazy. Let's see. Okay. As soon as the lift hits the ground floor, we hightail it out of the building. Seb's sound asleep when we pass by his station. However, in the face of what we've seen, everything I've faced tonight, we really can't care less who will still see us on our way out. The sooner we get away from this place, the farther the better. I'm just not sure if that also means being safe. She almost got us, damn it. The fucking thing almost had us. Yep, that's what it's like when you're being hunted down by a ghost. Shit. It was only by luck that we managed to get the fucking elevator unstuck. Had the blast thing not worked in the last second. I need some fresh air. Fresh, breathable air that doesn't stink like death and gore all at once. I'm panicking. Christ, losing focus. With another person here, I can't afford that right now. Isabella hasn't said anything, but I know she's more shaken than I am. I can't lose it when another person's depending on me.
Remember your training, Frey.
Yes. with your freaked out portrait. Another deep breath, and soon I'm starting the engines and driving us off. After that little incident, somewhere open would be good. Someplace we won't get trapped. The park? Yep. Luxbourne Park brings a welcome relief, though only by some. The chill that has seeped into my bones is still there, furling and unfurling underneath my skin. If I don't move, if I don't busy myself with anything, soon my brain will go haywire. It's the last thing I want to happen when there are plenty of things to do. But this already answers all of it, doesn't it? Those deaths? Just how many copies of the letter are out there? Isabella can't have the only one if other people are also getting cursed. Could it be that the one she has shown us is just one of 5? Maybe even more? That whole pass this to 5 people business is ridiculous, but at this point, is it still? All in all, we found 21 people who might have read the letter, 7 of them deceased, 8 if we count Cooper. And that's only with what we can find right now. We have no idea how the contractors and specialists hired from outside the company are doing, if we are in any way affected. How many more people are suffering? How many are missing? How many are dead? Can I still even blame the Wrights for this? If anything, they might be in danger as well. I don't think I can wish a curse upon anyone, no matter how big of a douchebag Luke Wright is. There's also that woman. How do we get out of this mess? How do we get away from her? Shit. Still so many things we need to look into. Yet all my body wants to do is pace, burn out whatever excess energy there is in me.
Ashton, I'm getting dizzy. Will you sit down?
This is the first time Isabella has said anything. She's been sitting quietly since we dropped here. Better and less distracting than watching her nervous habits, I suppose. She certainly seems calm now. Too calm, in fact, for someone who has just seen something terrible. Too calm, in fact, for someone who has just seen something terrible. Well, she's already been through this once. I mean, when you go through it a second time, it's just something you can kind of just sort of, shake off and keep trudging forward, I guess. But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized. But it's been more than a week for her already. People do get desensitized to things at some point. Even someone like Isabella. Who knows what's going on inside her head, though? Inside mine? There are too many, and none of them would sit still.
I'm not going crazy, am I? I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. I didn't inhale anything weird. Just shit. Shit. Isabella, please tell me that wasn't...
What I'm not expecting when I turn to her is mirth. One that she could barely contain.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I'm not quite sure what she sees in my face, but in the next second, a laugh suddenly bursts out from her. And this line isn't... Okay, I'm so sorry. It's just that you should have seen the look on your face back there. Why is there no audio? Yes, right, sure. I'm not the one who panicked. You almost ripped my arm off. Isabella, this isn't funny. The woman almost got us. We could have ended up dead.
I know! I'm really sorry!
That's so weird. That's never happened before, where it's just a bunch of text is just not being audible. Yeah. Weird.
But this is just too precious to miss. You really lost your shit for a moment there.
You're trying to get back at me, aren't you?
Well, I'm not the one who kept calling someone scaredy cat for years. How does it feel?
I'm not scared.
Yes, you are.
Really? Because it doesn't seem that way to me. At all.
I'm not, all right? I'm just... I just don't know what to do right now.
Immediately after, the moment passes, replaced by another tense silence. Laughter dies on her lips as everything sinks in. We're in deep shit, and it has finally caught up and hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit me more than anyone. Because she has been warning us of this since day one. Because she has been warning us this... Because she has been warning us of this since day one, and I'm the first person who brushed it off. Despite that, she still reaches out to me, tugging at my sleeve almost desperately. Her hands are trembling, and there's a tremor in her voice when she speaks. Without the cheer, only fear remains. One that she has been burdened with from the beginning.
We're still going to do something about it, right? Not just stand around and let that thing get us.
Yeah. Unexpectedly, she leans her forehead against my arm, and her grip on my sleeve tightens. There's desperation in there, a quiet plea.
Don't want to lose anyone anymore, Ash.
I wish I could give her that promise, but with so many unknowns, so many things I don't understand about this, how could I? Why she still trusts that I can do something about this baffles me. It all feels wholly undeserved, considered the way I've treated her. Yet despite my reluctance, I find myself returning her hold in kind. A grasp, warm and light enough for comfort. Not a promise, but the closest thing to it. Oh boy, what's this? Darkness blurs the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Oh, that's hair. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing noises of her laughter. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me apart from one. There's only fear. Even after 2 months, her laugh still creeps me out. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. Is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. You are at her house. Apartment, sorry. Those photos are still cute, though. And bat cat in the shape. I want one. I want a bat cat in my life. Morning breaks in a blurry mess of vivid shapes and colors. Oddly, there's no feeling of terror or confusion gripping me, despite the vague images that has driven me from my sleep. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the last remnants of an unconsciousness. Awareness kicks in shortly, though slow and sluggish, as I blink away the last remnants of unconsciousness from my eyes. The early morning light already streams from the open windows when the memory sets in and the room finally comes into focus. Isabella's apartment. Pushing myself upright, my eyes wander idly towards her phone, her prone form. She's hunched over the coffee table, both her arms under her head, while she continues to rest. Then, to the chaos of papers and folders we've left scattered over it, before sleep has claimed both of us. We've bunkered down here last night, and both our nerves have calmed down. Mine for the most part. Staying together was an unspoken invitation. And anyway, I'm pretty sure neither of us want to remain alone when there's that woman. Is she still one in the first place? One that we'd normally call a human? It is a good question. Can it still feel guilt? Does it understand pain?
Fuck. I'd rather get charged for breaking and entering than mess with whatever that thing was any day.
Not that thinking about this still matters, when all our lives are in her hands. She's dangerous. She's dangerous. If we don't do anything about her and this curse, we'll definitely be pushing... She's dangerous. She's dangerous. If we don't do anything about her and this curse, we'll definitely be pushing daisies soon. I can't let that happen. I've dallied on this long enough. Left my friends in harm's way after the warnings they've all given me. Besides, beneath the terror and the adrenaline that keeps me running, knowing what lies ahead for Isabella makes it hard not to take action. The paper sitting on the edge of the table calls my attention. At this, light against my hand when I reach for it. It has caught my eye the night before, but with the lot we still need to go through, I've simply ignored it. The logo emblazoned on the top of the page, however, provides this paper a whole new meaning. Not for me, but definitely for her.
A scholarship grant, huh?
Yay! Luxborn, she's gonna go back to school! Oh, that's great! I can just barely read that. I've only ever heard her talk about this once or twice. Completing her degree, that is. She rarely goes about it in great detail, preferring to keep it to herself. Perhaps it's the fact that she thinks she's already too old to be chasing after it. It has been 5 years, after all, but I've caught enough snippets of conversation between her and Zach to know she has never given up on it. Despite how things have panned out with her father, she's one step closer to this part of her life. As silly as this may sound, coming from a friend, I'd like to give her the chance to have this. Whenever this means stepping out of my comfort zone and figuring what the deal with this curse is, I'll do so. If only to see that same smile on her face from that time again. These days, the only moments she seems to show it when she's asleep, like right now, no matter how uncomfortable she appears. A smile of my own forms, despite this, when I glance at her sleeping form again. She hasn't moved since, her shoulders rising and falling in a slow, even rhythm with her breathing. You won't think she has any problems this way.
If only that were true.
Sighing, I place the paper back where I've gotten it, carefully so I won't accidentally wrinkle or damage it in some way, and finally push myself off the makeshift bed. Isabella shifts when I carry her off from the floor and over to her bed. She doesn't wake, simply tucks herself comfortably under the covers I pull over her. Briefly, though, she mumbles something to herself and draws in another deep breath.
Becca, Ashton's being dumb again.
She drifts back to a deeper state of sleep after, like it hasn't been interrupted by the slightest movement earlier. The small smile on her lips remain. I only find myself returning in kind.
Who sleeps like a rock now?
It's better this way. Better to leave her to dream. Yeah, it's better this way. Better to leave her to her dreams for the moment, which I hope are better than the ones I've had. She'll have time to worry about our problems later when she wakes up. For now, this will be another thing I don't want to take away from her, a moment of respite, no matter how fleeting. She deserves it, after everything she has been put through, what I've put her through. In the meantime, I still have 2 other people I need to check with. Isabella will definitely get in a tizzy if I don't check on them. Cold Luxborn air meets me upon stepping out of the hallway. Not unusual in itself. This is what Luxborn's weather is supposed to be. A bit cold, damp for the most part, and more often than not, terribly drab with an occasional sprinkling of rain every few hours. That's England for you. And Canada, too, if you want to get down to it, too. I like that. When sky's still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worst. Oh, for the worse. The sky's still clear, but I'll give it a day or two before the weather takes a turn for the worse. I've complained about the awful rains for years, despite having lived here my entire life. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. I have to admit, though, seeing it return to the usual feels extremely reassuring. At least something's still normal in this world, and I can no longer think the same for the situation we're in. A nightmare. That's probably all this is. Usually, I'll say I've been through worse, but that's simply another lie I've often told myself, isn't it? And I've fed myself a great deal of lies through the years, just so I won't have to think about it the next day. Maybe we won't even have this problem, but I haven't been running away and ignoring things, hiding them someplace no one will see, because I've since believed doing so is a show of weakness. Not so, man.
The fuck do I know about ghosts, though?
Ask the professor. What does Zach? What does Rebecca? Z-Man has shown me photographs, mentioned weird things happening around him these past few days. Bottom line, he likely knows as much about this as I do. Why else would he approach me? The guy who knows stuff, according to him. In the end, all I've done is give him the brush off. Some reliable guy I am. Hell, Rebecca's probably in the same boat, grasping for anything that might provide an answer, a way out of this. What can any of us do when all of us lacks any understanding of what's happening? One thing's clear about this, however. That thing is after us because of the letter. I don't think it's because of the letter. I still think it's because of the house itself. Both Rebecca and Zach have seen it, too. She will go after them as well. Yet here I am, walking up Rebecca's door, one slow step at a time, a stalling tactic to allow myself some time to put the mess in my head in a better order. How to phrase this? When there's a 90% chance she'll still be pissed about the whole different bleh. How to phrase this? When there's a 90% chance she'll still be pissed about a whole different matter. It's the only reason we didn't check on her last night, aside from the ungodly hour Isabella and I arrived. We'll only alarm her by showing up at her home in the middle of the night, acting like babbling lunatics, and her anger can last quite a while. These days, it seems the only one she can easily forgive is Isabella. But even with her, Becca's fuming still takes hours. I run my hand through my hair and straighten out my jacket before knocking, once, twice, and 3 times, just to be sure she has heard me, even if she's asleep. She's usually awake by now, though.
Hey, Becca, it's Ash. Open up. Don't tell me you're still in bed.
Seconds tick by. No answer from her, and dread has started to creep up. I've been trained to handle dire situations, but the feeling has been doing that quite frequently since last night. My mind begins to anticipate the worst, and the next minute, concern has mixed in with my thoughts, and I bang my fist on the door, louder this time. She'll definitely be livid, but I'd rather face her wrath than a dead body.
Becca, it's Ash. There's something we need to talk about right away. Open up. I know you're...
Your girlfriend left early this morning, pretty boy. So if you could do us a bloody favor and shut up, that'd be real fucking polite.
My hand pauses short of landing another heavy knock. From the other unit, Rebecca's other neighbor peeks in through his door, though I see nothing but a bundle of blankets. Oh. I'll say they need help from being devoured by their sheets, but it sounds like he's just fine. He's a huge asshole, too. Course of action, so people like him won't ruin your day. Act like the nicest person on the planet. Has done me wonders when I was a rookie patrolling the streets. No need to match his temper.
Oh, did she say where she was going?
Oh, okay. This is when Rebecca had that incident with the ghost at the library. Right, oh, right.
I don't know. She said something about meeting someone or something, in case Filipina girl over there asks. Well, what am I, her keeper? You know, some people want to sleep in on a bloody Sunday, so keep it down. Just looking forward to this weekend. Thanks, you damn git.
Well, there's no need to be an ass about it. I'll get out of your...
He slams his door shut without warning, but not before muttering a string of very colorful words about me. Probably thinks I won't hear him inside the 4 walls of his apartment.
Jerk.
And at the end of it, a sigh. So Rebecca's not here. I must have missed her by an hour or so, but at least she's not alone. She should be safe. Yeah. She should be safe, in theory. More so, if the person she's meeting with is who I am thinking. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing, continuing down increasingly dark lines of thought. Nevertheless, I still can't help but worry. It's an easy thing, continuing down increasingly darker lines of thought. To act brashly, to find out where she is and go straight there, without deliberating on my actions first. There's Zach, to boot. Rebecca's not alone, but I can't say the same thing about the big guy. A simple phone call to both of them should do the trick. It'll ease my nerves at any rate. It's better than rushing over to Zach's place, or assuming Rebecca's whereabouts, and finding out they're nowhere to where I've guessed they should be. Assuming the worst will come next, which I'd rather avoid this early. Any other reason, I won't bother them, but an emergency begs for urgency. This is one, right? Yes. Even if it isn't, anxiety from concern dulls judgment, something I most certainly can't afford to lose at any given time, especially right now. Any means to comment will do wonders for the muddled mess my mind is already in. Pulling up my phone, I thumb through my screen until until it ends up, pulling up my phone. I thumb through the screen until it ends up on a group with only Zach's, Rebecca's, and Isabella's numbers listed. Close friends. Other people will probably say I keep too few friends when they chance on this. To some extent, it's true. I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with over the... I can easily name about 100 people I've been acquainted with through the years. Colleagues, blockmates from uni, neighbors, those sorts of people. They all come and go. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason. But these three have chosen to stay for some reason, without wanting or asking for anything. Unlike the others, none has Zach's kindness, Rebecca's patience, nor the sincerity in Isabella's eyes. One day, these guys are just there. The next thing I know, being with them eases it. That heavy, somber feeling lingering in the air when you stand alone in your apartment, or something as simple as spending your day off without anyone. I'll say it's loneliness, but this carries much more depth than that. I can help it. I don't want to lose any of them to some stupid curse. A phone call may be the least comforting thing at the moment. Honestly, I prefer being in the same room with them right now, but I'll take what I can get. Becca first. She'll get angry at me for worrying about her. She isn't some helpless damsel in distress, after all. True, she literally took on a ghost in a library and threw a book at it. She isn't the shy little girl I knew when we were children. We're already far from the people we were back then. That's more than enough reason to check in on her. I don't have to imagine her taking anything head on. She'll do it instead of asking for help when she needs it. I don't care if she gets mad at me, if only to know that she's fine. A ring. In the silence of the hallway, its sound alone might as well be sharp enough to pierce through my ears. Another second passes. 2, 3. But on the 9th ring, it goes straight to her voicemail. A cold feeling instantly lodges in my stomach.
Rebecca Gales here. You've reached my voicemail. Sorry if I can't get to you right now. Oh, and if this is Isabella, yes, you're free to reheat the food in my fridge. Otherwise, leave a message.
That's so cute. Oh my god. Probably just busy, that's all. Though I still barely manage to keep my voice even when I speak.
Hey, Becca, call me back when you're free. We need to talk. ASAP.
Yeah, this is the thing after Rebecca had to deal with the ghost. Becca will be alright. Is alright. So if I had gone up the stairs, I think I'd be dead. Well, if I had gone up the stairs with Rebecca, I think I'd probably die. That would be bad. She's safe. She's with someone else. In the event that woman shows up, she'll have someone with her. Someone she'll be able to ask for help. She's safe. She can handle herself. Becca might have a fiery temper, but she knows when she's faced with something she can't handle herself. Rebecca will see my missed call, and she'll call me back. Though I don't express it, though, Rebecca is someone I consider important to me. Oh, flashback! Oh, look at her hair! Oh, she looks so cute! And so does Ash. Oh my god, they look so adorable! God damn. She's been my friend for the longest. Anybody else would have been fed up with me and left. The girl stuck by me, no matter how big of a jerk I've been. There's Zach and Isabella now, too, of course. I'll always be thankful for having them around. The worst times before, however, Becca was there. Wonder how old they are here. They look to be the same age as Kylie. I mean, heck, In a sense, Rebecca's kind of sporting Kylie's hair. No one believes it when I say it, but no one believes me when I say it, but I've surely had my awful moments as a bratty kid and as a horrible teen. Issues. I've had too many of them to count and refused to deal with them for a time. At least, that's what Andrew likes to tell me. I tend to think nothing of it. It has mellowed down over the years, thanks to the professor mostly. But at times, I do wonder if it still burdens me the way it did all those years ago. After all, I was terrible, especially around the time of my parents' separation. Well, any kid would be upset if their parents are getting a divorce. Any kid would be. Looking back at it now, I had no reason to direct all my frustrations towards everyone else. While I wasn't a kid who lashed out at anyone, preferring to keep it to myself and turning those negative feelings into more productive things, I've grown distant from a lot of people because of it. From my old friends back in my old school, and the neighbors I've hung out with before moving. A habit I've likely brought with me into adulthood. I was just so angry with everyone and everything. All I kept thinking about was myself, wondering why me. In retrospect, I was a selfish little bastard who thought the world revolved around me. That I shouldn't have been going through it. I believed my behavior was entitled, that I had the right. Tough times, but she stuck with me, snapped me out of my little sulk, as she often phrases it, whenever she sees the chance to bring it up. She didn't tolerate my bullshit, but she didn't leave me alone either. If anything, the whole thing made her stick around. It's 'cause she had feelings for you, dude. Her concern may have grown a bit overbearing as the years went by, but she's still an old friend nevertheless. I owe her a lot. That won't change.
Damn it. Where are you, Becca?
At the library. Another message left on her voicemail. Then, on my third call, I hang up. For the time being, I can't do anything more than to wait for her to return my calls. Worrying aimlessly won't get me anywhere. Zach, on the other hand, the guy attracts trouble no matter how much he tries to avoid it. Doesn't help how he hasn't been too hot lately with a lot of people. His mention of plans yesterday doesn't sit well with me. His mention of plans yesterday doesn't sit too well with me either. He might be the next responsible adult after Rebecca, out of the four of us, but I've still got to check on the big guy. Make sure he's doing okay, at the very least, whatever he's planned on doing. All I'm asking is for not to be idiotic. He's a sensible guy, I'm sure. However, desperation clings and pushes people to do things, irrational or irrational, it doesn't matter. Clear thinking flies out the window the moment you're in danger, and I sincerely hope he has not found himself in a tricky situation. His phone doesn't even ring before he answers, or his voicemail at least.
Hey, it's Zach. Well, a voicemail anyway. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, just leave a message, yeah? And no, Ash, you're not allowed to lockpick your way into my apartment again. Just do what any other decent human being does and call if I'm not around. Thanks.
I love how both Rebecca and Zach have like a personal kind of thing with their voicemail as well. That's so cool and adorable and just great. It just shows how close they are with each other. Did he turn it off? Why? I don't want to assume the worst yet. Maybe he's forgotten to charge it? Can't be. That guy can be a bit of a Boy Scout. Even more than I am as a cop. He's the type He's the type who has an extra battery or a power bank in his bag, if he ever needs it. And he always does. He won't say anything or brag about it. But he's got a quiet roster of VIP freelance clients. He won't just leave his phone dead in case he's on the field, particularly when people will likely be looking for him. He always leaves his connection open whenever clients or his friends need him. Zach is reliable like that.
Why isn't anyone answering?
His mobile in an out-of-range area sounds more plausible, although the thought of it doesn't completely shake off the unease. Unlike Rebecca and I, he took the time to listen to what Isabella said. And even if he didn't believe it, he was definitely the first one to offer help or try to do something. If he ends up trouble doing whatever it is, so help me, I'm going to... Well, I can't be rash. I'm aware of that. Being running on the same reminder in my head since last night. But if something happens, I'm certain my reaction won't be pretty. The added guilt of those times I've repeatedly dismissed him will surely haunt me.
Yo, Zach, call me back, alright? I wanted to check in and, yeah, just please call me back.
It's usually a joke between us when I say that he's the Watson to my Sherlock. Aw, that's cute. I don't see him as some assistant to put aside until he's needed, like some people like to believe, though. He's not some pity friend I keep around to make myself look good.
If anything, he's the one who stayed by me out of pity.
Zach's the one who puts up with me most of the time, even when he doesn't need to. It's not a case of a cool cop who helped out a minority. In truth, I was hard-headed, hot-tempered, and a reckless rookie, up until I met him. It wasn't anything sudden, and some part of me is still that rookie, but I've grown, thanks to him. He tempers that part of me. Considering how our first impressions went, I'm lucky he stuck around. Becca and I may have spent a lot of years together as children, but Zach, he's probably the closest thing I'd call to a best friend, though it's more than that, a camaraderie no words can express. He has my back, and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck to ever... He has my back, and I'll always have his. He's a brother I've never had the luck of ever having. Only child and all.
And I have every reason to worry about my brother.
Oh. Becca's neighbor did say she went out to meet with someone. No specific names. If I'm wrong, she's not with Professor Clark. Then maybe it's with Zach. They've never been close, but it's not the kind of awkward friendship where meeting together remains out of the question. Regardless, I continued dialing his phone another 3 times, like I've done with Becca's. In the end, after the 3rd attempt, with no one answering, I stopped and moved to cut the call with a ragged exhale.
Waiting game it is, then.
I've been trained for those. Hell, I'm used to them. Just not when it comes to people I'm close to. I kind of am. Much as I keep reminding myself to maintain a level head, it's a whole different matter when it's someone you know. Personal feelings will likely get involved at some point. It's starting now, actually, with the anxious strings coiling and uncoiling, causing a racket inside my stomach. And that's exactly when the line finally connects. Before he even speaks, my question has already slipped out, including every pent-up worry and tension in my body.
Where are you?
Oh, this was also the thing with Zach, too, when he was at the park after being hunted down by the ghost. I thought it was at night, though, when this happened, unless it's still kind of dark over there. The line's choppy, though I can still make out the words he's saying. Nothing to worry about then. He's just someplace where network coverage is shitty. Can't imagine where at this time of the morning, though. Did he go out for a jog?
What was that, Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you? Hell, Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
The park? I've meant that to sound as friendly as possible. To keep things light, at least. Instead, only the frustration shows in my tone.
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
The mansion, you dork.
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even...
Please don't tell me that's his plan. A morning visit to the mansion? Where Luke Wright is? Oh, yeah. Oh, it was after the thing with the ghost that he was at the mansion. Okay. Of all the pig-headed things to do right now. Right. And we had the choice to go into the house or not to go into the house. And I chose not going into the house because ghosts. It smelled like a trap. A big old trippity trap. Of all the pig-headed things to do right now, it's the best thing he can come up with. Breaking and entering. I've got a plenty of reasons to rail him right now. Although no matter how much I want to give him a piece of my mind, unfortunately it's not the time.
No, wait. Just get your ass to Isabella's place and hurry.
He pauses a moment, a second of indecision, while he seems to contemplate his options.
How urgent is this?
In truth, the question, the hesitance, and the indecision in his voice has caught me completely off guard, and understanding dawns on me. His decision to go there isn't one born out of a stupid impulse. He must have found something. However, no matter how urgent it is, he still shouldn't have gone there, alone at that. Despite myself, in that split second of comprehension, I allowed it to show a weakness. A simple request, brimming with every unease and disquiet, causing turmoil within me since last night. It bears a selfish hope that he'll understand, even though the unstable signal that wherever's keeping him there, he'll be willing to set it aside for now.
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach.
Silence fills the other end of the line again. For a long moment, I assume he won't heed it, and I'll have to drive there myself, just to drag him away from whatever danger he's skirting. Thankfully, he agrees.
I'll be there in a few. An hour or two tops.
Thanks. I'll see you.
Relief washes over me as soon as the call ends. After that close call, Ashton spent the night at Isabella's, only to be kept awake by nightmares. At an utter lost, and with all of his beliefs overturned, Ashton decided to check on Zachary and Rebecca. Unfortunately, only Zachary returned his calls. Yeah, well, everyone's okay, so... Normally, I don't let myself a moment of respite in times like this. Gotta stay alert. Rebecca's still out there, yet hasn't returned any of my messages. But for the moment, I relish in it. This is probably the first time I've permitted myself to do so since last night. Even the muscles in my shoulders have been complaining from all the tension I've taken on. It still annoys me that all I can do right now is to grit my teeth and trudge back to Isabella's apartment. Useless. That's what I am in the face of this. A mad dash around Luxborn and Anselm isn't going to help things. It's not like I'll simply stumble across them on the side of the road during a drive. The city is too big. A place for one person to go searching for only two people. I'll be lucky if I even get a glimpse of the hair of it. The city's too big a place for one person to go searching for only 2 people. I'll be lucky if I even glimpse the hair of either of them. With one last hopeful glance towards the open skies, I slipped back into Isabella's apartment and closed the door behind me. I might have already grown used to this, but the waiting will always be the hardest part. More so when it's the people you care about.
You're up early. I thought you left.
This is not the first time I've seen Isabella like this. Standing casually in her kitchenette, a ladle in hand, keeping an eye on whatever's stewing on the stove, while humming a soft tune under her breath. 5 years ago, it has become a common sight after the 3 of them, including Zach and Rebecca, found a mutual interest in cooking. After that, whenever our schedule allows it, one of them will invite everyone to dinner or lunch instead of eating out. Rebecca prefers it that way. Healthier, she claims. Zach's just too happy to be able to cook for everyone. Isabella, on the other hand, as long as there's food, she's happy. Me? I've been banned from the kitchen ever since the pressure cooker incident. Easier times. Good times. Right now, however, the scene brings an odd sense of normalcy, a strange fit with all of the things going on around us. Not unwelcome, only bizarre, I suppose. Isabella doesn't follow up on her question earlier. She does raise an eyebrow my way when I take too long to answer. For that, I only offer a casual shrug in response and a short answer.
I've checked with Zach and Rebecca. I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
I'll add in a quip or two for her. If the timing for a joke isn't off, or doing so won't be inappropriate. I don't want to alarm her either. There's no reason to, yet. Until Zach gets here or until I've received an answer from Rebecca, whichever comes first. Nevertheless, it's clear she has plenty of questions. It's right there in the subtle crease between her eyebrows, and the inquisitive gleam in her eyes. Curious as she is, though, she decides against voicing all of her questions out. Instead, she shifts her attention back to the stove and gestures vaguely with a hand in the couch's direction.
Well, if we're going to wait for them, don't stand around there. It's getting distracting.
You're just cooking. How am I distracting?
I don't know. Something might explode again, maybe. Zach's kitchen ban for you is also in effect here, you know. Now shoo, go. Stop hovering. You'll ruin the food. I'll be done here soon.
She leaves no room for an argument by swatting the ladle at me. Just like that, I've been kicked out of the kitchen. Left with nothing else to do, I drift back to her tiny living space and slump down on the couch. Closing my eyes, I allow the noise from the television to guide my thoughts. The ones I've been keeping at bay, freeing them from the cage I've built around them, so I won't have to think. One by one, they trickle back into my consciousness, each more frightening and unnerving than the other. So many things going on. So many things happening. The papers we've gotten from BRC doesn't provide any comfort either. Seriously, is there even a point to those after last night? What will asking those people do? If anything, this only proved there might be more copies of that dumb piece of paper. We have one here, but how many exactly is there out there? More importantly, how do we get out of this stupid mess?
Ashton.
You could burn the house down. I don't know, just an idea. As much as I hate destroying history, if it means to get rid of the ghost, I'm kind of, all for it. Go away, ghost, I don't want you here. Damn it, I haven't felt this kind of bone-weary exhaustion in years.
I don't want to think what might happen next in case I miss something. Shit.
Rebecca, Zach. Isabella.
They're all depending on me, and
Oh.
Ash!
The voice snaps me out of my thoughts, abruptly wiping away everything running a racket inside my head. Suddenly, Isabella's there, crouched in front of me when I crack an eye open. I haven't even noticed that exact moment when I've bent over and buried my head in my hands. Figures why she's staring at me like I fainted or something. The crease on her eyebrows grow deeper at my lack of response. Although she's merely staring at me, without saying a word, her expression says everything. So much for trying not to alarm her with bad news.
sorry, I just spaced out for a moment. Don't mind me.
For a brief moment, she seems to accept that. Quietly, she shifts, stands up, and takes the empty space right beside me. All done without a single comment. Then, the next thing I know, she's gently pushing a bowl in my hands. Ooh, what's that? The scent reaches me first, before I've gotten the chance to take in what she's handed me. A faint, sweet smell of cocoa wafts from the dish. Calming, comforting, despite the multitude of things bothering me. It certainly smells like the kind of food you'll eat on a rainy day. Though from the get-go, it doesn't look as appetizing. What is it? What is this even? Porridge? Why would you put chocolate in it and milk drizzled on top? She tells me my tastes are weird. Yet here she is, handing me something equally as strange. In fact, she's already started digging in hers. I'm just not sure if the taste will be equally as appealing. Baffled, I glance her way. She offers no immediate answer, simply continues eating as if she hasn't done so in a week, with her only focus solely on the television. She's not watching, however, just listening. As a background noise. The voices from it seem too cheerful, a welcome distraction, if anything. It's only after she has finished off half of the bowl does she acknowledge the question in my eyes. With a sigh, she cradles the dish in her lap and looks down at it. Briefly, her lips part, then closes, a hesitation, though I don't push her. There's a distant air on her, as if she has remembered something that warrants a poignant thought. When she speaks at last, it's in a tone too cheerful, like she's still weighing her words, considering the proper phrasing for it. Yet sincerity underlines each syllable once they're out in the open.
You should eat. Back at home, Mom would never let us leave the house if we hadn't eaten breakfast yet. Even Papa has got an earful when he tried. So eat. You'll need it.
She returns to her food afterwards, while I can only stare at the one she has offered not a few minutes. Proffered? She returns to her food afterwards, while I can only stare at the one she has proffered not a few minutes ago. I don't know that word, I'm sorry. Warm against my hands, tempting me to take a bite. Not that I don't appreciate this, but what good will this do? Zach and Rebecca's both out there. Who knows when the ghost will show up again? Even in our dreams, we're not safe. But that's it, isn't it? We don't know when, and at present, we have a chance of respite, maybe the only one we have. Even if it's as mundane as sharing food between us, quietly just seating side by side like this, without exchanging any words. In an instant, the intent hangs unspoken in the air, something that probably goes as far back as the second she offers food. The intent hangs unspoken in the air, something that probably goes as far back as the second she offered food. Still, in the end, Isabella never pushes it. Rather, she lets her own silence convey her hope. Whether I'll allow myself that break, she leaves it up to me. I'm gonna save. And yes, we are gonna take that food.
Thank you.
It went up. Yay. The words roll off my tongue, awkward and unfamiliar, far removed from those jets and quips we've shared. Yet she accepts this with a smile and nothing more, regardless of everything left unsaid. The sight of it brings comfort. More than any generous offer of food can give. Though we both lapse into silence after, as we finish our food, there's an ease in it. In the muffled sounds of Luxborn filtering into the room. In the light streaming from her windows, and the faint draft occasionally drifting in, catching the loose tendrils of her hair. In the way her voice falters when she tries to form words. And despite the horror looming over us, I find myself wishing for the minutes to slow, for the seconds to last. But ultimately, she's the one who breaks it, softly, after a minute's pause, in words mumbled under her breath. Sometimes, silence simply compels us to speak.
I've been wondering, before last night, before Mama told me the news, what if Papa passes away, despite everything? That sort of thing. I know it's not good to think about, but I also knew it was getting worse. Mama won't say anything, but I've always known that one day, he'll eventually.
She releases a sigh as her grip on the bowl she still holds tightens. There are no tears, but she might as well have them with how weak her voice falls. Are there even any left? There are no tears, but she might as well have them with how weak her voice falls. Are there even any left?
I don't know what I'm going to do. Before, I can easily say it's because of Papa. Now, I don't have anything.
Oh.
You have that scholarship from Lux U.
Yeah.
Were you going through my personal papers while I was sleeping last night?
I don't really have to. You left it sitting in the open, right there on the table.
Like there's still anything to hide, she snatches it away from where I've placed it back earlier. Except there's no anger or annoyance in her face when she looks at it and rereads it, every line with a pensive expression. After a short while, she folds it neatly along the creases and sets it back.
I don't even know if this will work out.
You can still always try.
Well, if it doesn't, what about that exhibit you've been planning with Zach?
Yeah.
Do I even have to ask where you got that?
Zach sucks at lying. You have no idea how easy he is to read. It was all in his face when I asked about it. And anyway, if that doesn't pan out too...
I trail off, hesitating, measuring the weight of my next words. Genuine as they are, a part of me believes they're a burden, too heavy to impose upon her. Because no matter how much I want her to stay, we are not what ties her here. It'll be selfish to ask her of that. More than anything, her family will always come first. I say it, nevertheless, if only to let her know that no matter what her choice will be, there will be people here whose lives here matter. No, there will be people here whose lives her mere presence has changed. Mine most of all.
You have us.
Well, the words startle her to a pause, and slowly she turns to me, her eyes wide, disbelief all over her face. Tell her! Come on! Hold on. Thing. Chocolate porridge soup thing. I don't know what it is, but I'd love to try it. After leaving their friends an urgent message, Ashton returned to Isabella's apartment. He found the girl already up and about, cooking about cooking. Seeing his exhaustion, Isabella reminded him that he should take care of himself first and offered him food. With a muttered thanks, he accepted. Before regret forces an apology up from my throat, her expression dissolves to something I can't quite place. Something distinctly softer, more tender, familiar, almost in the same manner she glanced at me many years ago, that day at the bridge. However, I don't get the chance to figure out what it all means for her. Door? Yes! Oh, relationship, hold on. Nothing changed. The fuck? Okay. All of a sudden, a knock breaks the moment, and just as fast, both our attention shifts towards the source. Before things can get awkward fast, I stand up and open the door, while muttering some flimsy excuse in the process.
I'll get that. It's probably Zach or Rebecca.
Dang it. Really, I know we're in a pinch, but their timing can't, really, I know we're in a pinch, but their timing can't get any worse. Unrelated frustrations aside, once I fling open the door, a whole chunk of the stone that has been stuck at the pit of my stomach simultaneously unsets itself. Zach, hi. There in the hallway stands Zach, his hand raised, ready for another knock. Although he's not at the most presentable at the moment, ruffled and drenched with sweat as he is, relief quickly washes over me like a tide. He's still panting when he pushes me aside and heads in. The second his feet crosses the threshold, he scans the place, eyeing what little he can see of the room from the doorway. When finds none of whatever he's looking for, he turns to me with a questioning look, one that has a hint of panic in it.
You said it was urgent. Did anything happen? Is it Becca? Bella?
Everyone's fine. Well, Becca's not here. She went somewhere this morning and hasn't answered any of my calls yet. But Isabella's...
I'm here.
Oh, sorry. His weight shifts at the same time the stiff line in his shoulders eases. Once Isabella walks up to us and welcomes him with a smile. He relaxes then, returns her greeting in kind as soon as he has let out the breath he has been holding and the tension finally off his body.
So, nothing's wrong? Why'd you call me here for then?
My explanation can wait. He has a lot of explaining to do. The fact that he went to Ansem alone, for some godforsaken reason, warrants a proper one. Ghosts or not, he's already been given a warning. It frustrates me to no end that he might be the plan he mentioned. That this might be the... Ghost or not, he's already been given a warning. It frustrates me to no end that this might be the plan he mentioned the last time we spoke. I get that he's worried about Hannah Wright. Somehow, they've become friends. But that's not the issue here. Not when there's a murderous ghost who might go after one of us at any given time. Sure, Zach made it here in one piece. By some dumb luck, he's all right, and this takes one off the list of people I need to worry about. Frankly, as annoyed as I am, I can't just stay angry at him frankly, as annoyed as I am, I can't stay angry at him when I look at the situation that way. Hell, if that call didn't connect in that exact minute, there might have been a chance he won't be standing here. This is a bliss in itself. Hell, if that call didn't connect in that exact minute, there might have been a chance he won't be standing here. This is a blessing in itself. Though, first things first, some things need to be discussed. Honestly, he's... Let's see, what's our relationship? Honestly, he's okay. Yeah. Oh. Yay, it's full. Except, when I open my mouth, the only thing that spills out from it is my own relief. Despite myself, despite the rational part of my brain screaming everything wrong about Zach's neat little plan. We've had too many close calls with just a single night. Zach showing up in Isabel's doorstep, alive, whole, and unharmed? I might as well take comfort in that, while I still can.
You're okay.
You did tell me not to do anything stupid.
Mm-hmm. Suddenly, the whole room feels too heavy, and all I am able to do is drop down onto the couch. A headache also threatens to burst in the same moment, or perhaps this is what release from anxiety feels like? Regardless, I reach up a hand to pinch the bridge of my nose, even if it's likely doing nothing to alleviate the pain. I can't read today. Regardless, I reach up a hand to pinch the bridge of my nose, even if it'll likely do nothing to alleviate the pain. Why can't I read? Regardless, I reach up a hand to pinch the bridge of my nose, even if it'll likely do nothing to alleviate the impending pain.
Christ, you were right there! We have this stupid curse thing going on, and you were right there! You just walked up inside a private property! Those people can easily sue you for breaking and entering, and that's the least of it.
I know, Ash. But I can't just leave things as they are. I've got to do something. I know you're not very fond of the Wrights, but they don't deserve it if something bad happens.
It's true. Well, okay. Hana. At least Hana. Luke?
Hana most of all.
Yeah.
God damn it, Zach, I was worried!
Unexpectedly, he laughs. Not the half-hearted sort he makes when he's awkward or coming up with an excuse. Oh, he looks so genuinely happy there. Oh, a genuine one. Before my annoyance grows again and I snap at him, though, he suddenly catches me in a headlock. His arms looping around my neck while he grinds his knuckles against my skull. Helpless, I squirm under his grip in protest. Even then, it's hard to do so when you're up against a 6-footer.
Zach!
Aw, he's worried. Why didn't you say so? That cool act ain't gonna fool me anymore.
Let go!
No! He relents, soon enough, though only after he's done ampling damage in my hair. Oh, he relents, soon enough, though only after he's done ample damage in my hair. I hate it when he does that. Before a few moments there, the tense mood finally lightened up, and everything felt like how it used to be before this whole mess began. Makes appreciating little moments like this easier, still.
Seriously, Zach, why are you even there?
Told you already. I was looking for you.
Why would I even go there?
Well, you mentioned a plan with Isabella here. I assume that's where you guys went.
Yeah, I did
Since
too.
that's where she found the letter.
Yeah, same, honestly.
Sorry. I was really at a dead end.
The logic in it stuns me into silence, to say the least. Then I remember his hesitance, the tone he has taken before... Then I remember his hesitance, the tone he has taken before agreeing to go here, and all at once my anger from what he's done wanes. Partly, this is my fault for keeping things vague. I can't berate him for assuming that, when I've only left him with vague answers. Getting a lot today. Oh, cute! So cute! Zachary arrives at Samuel. I can't read. Zachary arrived at Samwell, and frazzled. Tired and frazzled. A Upon learning that he had come from the Ermengarde mansion that morning, Ashton could only express his relief that he was safe, assuming Zachary teased him for worrying, much to the other man's embarrassment.
You could have called me.
I did.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't receive any, and my phone was with me.
Can the ghost interfere with that?
You're kidding, right? I was at it the whole night.
The whole atmosphere in the room changes in 2 heartbeats. Back again into the tension-riddled one plaguing us. Zachary stares at me like I've grown another head. They say that a lot in this game. Then gradually he shifts his attention to Isabella. The expression in his eyes, questioning, asking for a confirmation, like my word can't be trusted, not that I'm holding it against him. I can't even believe the things coming out of my mouth these past few hours. Meanwhile, Isabella stays quiet, has been like that for quite some time. She looks like she wants to disappear right now. Guilt, frustration, anger, fear, all of flashes fleetingly across her face before it melts away under her expression of worry.
Please tell me he's joking. You were there?
No, we really didn't get any. Everything was quiet last night.
Mostly.
But Zach, at BRC, Ashton and I saw...
She never gets to finish that.
Sup, I'm Ash from Deluxe.
God damn it, that stupid ringtone. Abruptly, my phone rings again, blaring its badly sang ringtone throughout the whole room. Both of them pauses, waiting, when I pull it up to check the caller ID.
It's Becca. I'll tell her to get here as soon as she can. Excuse me.
Without another word, I slip out of the room to answer the call. However, the tone she assumes isn't what I'm hoping to hear.
Ashton, are you there?
Ragged, a bit out of breath, there's a tinge of urgency in it. Listening to her from my side of the line makes it seem like she'd just run a marathon prior to this call. Listening to her from my side of the line makes it seem like she's just run a marathon prior to this call.
Becca, where?
I got your message. What happened?
Nothing. Yet. Where are you?
Downtown. I had to make a quick visit to the library. Listen, Ash, about that thing Isabella has been talking about. There's something you guys need to...
Please tell me you didn't... Whatever. Save it for later. I'm at Salemwell. If you can get here as soon as possible, that'd be really great.
Well, that's how.
This is related to that.
Oh, that's how you say it. Okay.
You're there? Is Isabella with you?
Yeah, Zach too.
With a quick press of the button, I switch on to the loudspeakers and step back into Isabella's apartment. I hold out the phone towards the two, giving it 2 shakes, urging them to speak up. Both are still carrying worried looks on their faces. This should ease that.
Rebecca's asking for you two.
Becca? Is she okay? Hey, Becca!
Hello, Rebecca. Odd morning we having, eh?
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Hey, you two. What's happening over there? Is this something I should be worried about?
We'll tell you once you get here. Please, hurry.
I don't like the sound of that, Ash. But I'm on my way. Give me a few minutes. I'm driving.
She mumbles a goodbye, then hangs up. Becca's the last person I need to account for. Yet the call left an even more strained tension in the room. Thankfully, we don't have to linger in it for too long. She only takes a matter of minutes to get here, and the second she steps into the room, Isabella clings to her.
I'm so glad you're okay. Ashton checked on you this morning, but...
He did? I'm sorry. I was in a hurry. I didn't have time to drop by and let you know.
It doesn't matter. What's important is you're here.
Not burnt to a crisp or brutally murdered somewhere. Whole, alive. Although she seems a bit shaken, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. At least now, I can relax. ease the pressure of my shoulders, if only by some. But the minute Isabella pulls away from her, she winces, a small reaction. The younger woman doesn't even catch it. It sets a precedent of a casual observation, nevertheless. A closer look at her reveals at a much more disheveled than usual. Hair a bit of a mess, probably flattened in a hurry. The back of her dress also shows stains of dirt in places it rarely gets into. She's also leaning more on using her left arm. She's right-handed. Perhaps the most telling is the slight limp she has, noticeable on Isabella's leads her into the room. It all sprouts a hatful of questions. That's a word. What exactly happened and how he ended up in that state? Pretty sure a simple trip to the library won't do that. I grab for her arm before she can walk past, carefully to avoid hurting her in case there really is an injury. Seems like it at first glance, but you can't be sure until a careful examination has been made. I suspect some bruising at least. Although minor internal fractures aren't out of the question, they have a nasty way of staying hidden. Sure enough, Becca tenses immediately upon contact. Tries to pull back, although the sudden gesture only escalates another wince, forcing her and Isabella to a halt. She looks so grown. Everyone's like, what the hell, dude? Both of them turn to me almost the same time, their eyes searching mine for answers. Rebecca, for her part, doesn't appear quite pleased with the interruption, or the fact that someone has brought it to light. But that someone also has to make sure. Hold on.
You okay? You're limping.
And yay. As expected, she tries to hide it. This time, when she squirms from my grasp, it's with enough force she almost stumbles back if Zach hadn't caught her by the elbow. Even with two more people shooting her concerned looks, she's swift to shrug it off.
It's fine. I just had a little accident.
Little accident, hard to believe, when her other arm nursing the supposedly fine arm. Isabella doesn't buy any of it either.
In a library?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It kinda caught me off guard.
Something's happened there, hasn't it?
I don't have to elaborate on the question further. Shortly, she goes very still, and the hand placed over her right arm shifts ever so slightly, its grip on the limb tightening. Not too firm to hurt, just enough for a gesture of comfort for herself. Warily, she casts a glance at everyone in the room. But only the one she spares for is Isabella The only one she spares for Isabella lingers longer. And in that moment, something unspoken passes between them. An understanding. It strikes me seconds later how utterly familiar her expression is. It's the same one I've seen far too many times in Isabella. Since that day at the movie house, every time her attempts to warn us have been so rudely dismissed.
Let me see.
Can we? We have to check if it's bad.
Rebecca hesitates for a moment. Then after a minute of consideration, she sighs and reaches for the hem of her sleeve, raises it just enough for Isabella to take a good look at it. Not swollen, but a large portion of her skin starting to turn an ugly shade of purple.
Oh, that is gonna be one hell of a nasty bruise.
Tell me about it. It was a library cart that hit me. You know, the old metal ones they keep near the history section.
Ouch! Like I said, nasty.
But she's there? She went after you.
Yeah, I was in the archives, looking something up. Suddenly, she was just there. Belle, she was using my own students against me. What kind of terrible, terrible person does that?
The dead?
Oh, it makes my blood boil.
You should have just ran. That woman's not something you can hit with a book.
She tried!
Laugh it up, Ashton. I did. Then the bloody cart came out of nowhere. And you know what? If it weren't for a damn book, I would be dead by now.
Yeah. Silence descends in the room as the gravity of the one word hits all of us. Oh. To Ashton and Isabella's relief, Rebecca later called back. Soon, she showed at Salemwell, looking worse for wear. When the detective asked about it, worried, all the redhead could give was a frustrated answer. Fortunately, before the topic turned grim, Isabella stepped in. Dead. Another close call. Another would have. Another one we've narrowly avoided. How long can we keep this up? I don't know. Probably a few more times. We've bounded to break at one point. No normal human being with a sane mind can last like this. It's a miracle Isabella hasn't cracked yet. After all, she was the one who found the letter. I've expected her to have caved in by now, yet her voice, calm and composed in the face of this, is what cuts through the thick air.
I'll go get a cold compress for that arm. You guys take a seat first. Ashton and I, we have a lot of things to talk about.
That marks the end of it, at least for the time being. And as soon as Isabella returns and hands Rebecca the cold compress she promised, he gets straight down to business. Surprisingly easy, considering the rigid air in the room. Although there's some tense fumbling of words at first, the whole conversation gains steam once what happened last night at BRC has been put on the table. All at once, everything we've brushed off, carelessly ignored, and rudely dismissed have been laid out for a close scrutiny. Zach's encounters with the woman and his dreams, Rebecca's close brushes with death every time she appears. The dread, the fear, the terror she brings out even in the bravest of us. The dread, the fear, the terror she brings out even in the bravest of us. Everything. Because no matter how bleak all this seems, there must still be a way out of this. There has to be. Logic be damned. Or at least, that's what Isabella and I would have liked to believe. Okay, I've been recording for a bit. I'm gonna end it here. It was a nice reprieve, just finally getting everything out in the open. Oh my god, I'm just glad they're all alive, they're safe, they're okay, because holy shit. Okay. That's been a bit of a nice, long, continuing introduction of the letter. Because oh my god, they're alive, everyone's okay. Slight reprieve from everything else, thank you. But yeah, I hope you guys do like this episode of the letter, and I hope to keep making more, and then we'll be able to figure out more and get more answers and such, and the further we go along. And I'm just glad to be back doing this, and I really do hope you guys enjoy, and I hope that you all have a wonderful night, day, week, whenever, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!